morning and welcome to the Camnet Breakfast Show today, 8th March 2022. It is a wonderful Tuesday and we are celebrating Women's Day. So this year's theme is Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. I am your host, Dipora Mshala, and of course, I'm not alone in the studio, but I'm joined by my co-host, Alex Shima. Alex, how are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you. Good morning and happy Women's Day.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so
it starts, they say child begins at home, so we're going to start it from here. Then we celebrate out there.
But Alex, being Women's Day, I'm supposed to say, you work for me, then...
Instead you working the most so that we give you space. We give you space so that you can have more time to work whatever you're working on.
Yeah, okay, and so today we're expecting the head of state to actually grace the Women's Day celebrations, which are going to be held in showgrounds, and we're going to bring for you that news item tonight at 19:30. And so basically at 7:30 we're going to be joined by Major Oscar Chilumba, who is the country director for the Young Women Christian Association, and at 8 hours we're going to be joined by Madam Judith Kawemba, who is a politician, to help us appreciate this day. So we're expecting your calls. Do call in and let us know your thoughts on Women's Day. Is there gender equality in Zambia? What can be done? Do women have enough access to finance and the rest? What are expectations from the show, Alex?
Indeed, obviously we're looking at gender equality today for a sustainable development. So actually just unpacking that theme so that we get to know what really it's all about. You know, we've celebrated quite a number of, commemorated quite a number of Women's Days, and this one is quite unique, just like any other Women's Day we've celebrated. But we hope to see what this theme has to impact us with, especially to the women. What do they make out of it, and how do they actualize it? Because the matter of fact is, it's about actualizing and rather than just speaking it out. So we're hopeful, really, even from the guests that we'll be having this morning, to just unpack this theme and get going henceforth.
And especially that we've been talking about women participation in politics. If you remember, we just came from the general elections 2021, where women, where gender organizations were actually saying there needs to be equal representation on the political sphere for both men and women. So I'm sure Madam Judith Kawemba will help us actually discuss, are we on the right path?
Exactly.
How many women did we have who are adopted for maybe parliamentary positions and so forth? And so before we start our productive day, we're going to have the morning boost to stretch a little bit. So let's do that.
Good morning, Camnet viewers. Welcome to our quick morning show. And I am your presenter, Isaac Matsa. I'm here so that we can do a bit of exercise before you jump on that vehicle and go and do your work. Let's do a warm-up as usual. I'm excited. It's a beautiful morning, a brand new day. You better be positive and do what you know. Let's go. Hamstring, stay at it. Let's do now 2 each now, 2 each. Let's go. 1, 2, and 1, 2. Stay there. 2, 1. Try it. Tell your hubby to join you. Let's do it together. 2 each. 2 each. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 4, 3, 2. Back to step touch. Let's go. 4, 3, 2. Hamstrings. 4, 3, 2. Back to step touch. And 4, 3, 2. Hamstrings. Matching. Let's match. Lift your knees high. Hip, 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 hip. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's do a warm up. Okay. So that was your warm-up today, and we're gonna do something else now. The first thing we're gonna do, I'm giving you some squats. Okay, here we go now. Put your feet together. Watch my body posture. Let's go now. 20 at a go. If you can't do 20, please do 10. Okay, let's go. Let's go, mommy, daddy, involve your children. 1, 2, 4, go down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20. I'm gonna face this direction. Go! Move. Okay, 20. Still with squats. Take a break. Relax your legs. Good morning workout, isn't it? Let's go, another 10 now. Watch the space. This is what I do now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try it. 5, 6. Good for your body. 7, 8, 9, 10. So that was 10. That's the second one. In case you had too much of Nshima last night, let's burn all that fat now. Another 10. Ready? Feet together. Open your stance. Go down. Touch the ground. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Push. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 20. Trust me, if you're doing it exactly like me, right now, you can feel pressure on your thighs. 20 more. Remember, the first one we did was 40. This one should be 40 as well. After that, take a shower, jump on that vehicle, your bike, your car, and go for work. Let's go. 20 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! I'm burning fat here. Do it. You thank Camnet later. Last one. Let's go, Team Camnet. Let's show them we can do this. Last 10. After this, you can have your coffee and go for work. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll do 2 for you, 1 for you, 2 for your wife, 3 for your children, for my producer, 1. Great. That was 40. So you did 2 types of squats. Remember? There was the skill squat and the sumo squat. Now, forget about the names. What's important is for you to do the workout. Right now, I can't even talk properly because I'm working out. I'm burning fats, I'm burning calories, and that's what you ought to do. Every morning, try this. If you miss it in the morning, try to do it in the evening. Remember where I started from? Let's march. And back. We are winding down now. Thank you so much for tuning in to our breakfast show. Please make sure you need to exercise always because you only have one body to carry out your assignment. And I am signing out. I'm Isaac Matsa, and see you.
Welcome to our breakfast show. In case you're just joining us, we are running this show specifically to celebrate the women in our country and across the globe. And we'll be joined by our guests, which we'll be able to actually introduce when they're in our studios. But for now, we continue our conversation. Zipporah, like I said, let us bring us home. Really, how has been your observation in terms of women empowerment, participation and involvement to national development, really, from your own analysis?
Well, I feel like from my own observation, as someone who's a beneficiary or someone who's affected as a woman is, So maybe basically I feel that there are many opportunities out there, but what is really hindering women is that they really don't have the papers, I can say. They have not really attained that high level of education compared to men. So I think you alluded to it yesterday, something similar.
Yeah, we touched on it.
So whereby they'll say women, of course, because you know that even if a job, for example, if there's a job advertisement, they're not going to compromise on the quality and standard just because it's a woman. Maybe they'll say minimum master's degree. Women are encouraged to apply, but you find that maybe many women, you find that they're not, maybe the people who apply have only degrees, like undergraduate degrees, and then you say women are not being empowered. So it's a matter really of seizing the opportunity, especially now the free education policy, where we have to ensure that as many women as possible are actually educated.
Do you have any experience that you can remember personally, like, okay, this is the time I felt like I'm being appreciated as a woman, maybe an award or something, or maybe just though we used to go for school. I don't know, what experience can you recall to say, okay, the country is really going in the right trajectory in terms of empowering women?
Well, there have been many women who've been honored. Maybe you enter the same category with men, you find that women have actually been maybe more like to motivate them. But personally, I'll tell you the truth, I've never entered into any award. I don't know why.
Why?
I don't know why I've never entered, but I sure will enter.
This is why I was, even yesterday, if you remember our conversation for yesterday, we actually touched on it to actually give a picture of how women don't seize opportunities. You know, we can have a political party, for instance. They are calling for people to actually declare interest in standing for any position in that political party at different degrees, really. But you find that men will be more quick and more aggressive in grabbing such opportunities, while women, they are waiting, you know, very relaxed, waiting for them to just unpick them. I don't know if it's a matter of encouraging, no, apply, or
maybe
do something.
Intimidated. So it's actually a matter of, as long as a woman qualifies, I think there should be made a policy so that there's equal 50-50 representation.
Yeah.
Because again, if we say only women, then again we're going to have the exact opposite of what we're trying to achieve.
Exactly.
So it should be made that there should be a 50-50 representation. I think that's what people are actually advocating for by 2030. They're actually advocating for a 50-50 representation in terms of gender.
Yes, and talking about the gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow, what do you make of that, the theme?
Well, basically, they're looking at, we have to ensure that we have gender equality today. If tomorrow is to be of any value, so they're talking about gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow, a world where there's actually equality, where both men and women have their rights heard, equal pay, as well. That's still one issue where that is a problem in the labor sector. I've heard actually many trade unions actually expressing that you find that a man and a woman can apply for the same job, but a man will be actually offered a higher pay than a woman. So those are some of the concerns that are still going on.
Just get ready to actually even get interacting as we prepare for the main interviews that we've prepared for you, our special viewers. And remember, we come on your screens. If you're watching us from DSTV, it's on channel 274. If you're catching us from GoTV, it's on channel 98. And on Topstar is 106. We're also streaming live on Facebook. Just type Camnet TV Zambia, you will pop up and like the page and turn on the notifications so that every time we go live, you are able to follow us and tag along. We expectant that you'll be more interactive and call in just to submit your thought in terms of women empowerment and also gender equality for sustainable tomorrow, a theme that has been set for this year's commemoration of the International Women's Day.
Yeah, and so Alex, what do you expect in today's health talk?
Yeah, so yesterday we started a topic by with Dr. Francis Kawalia, who actually started the talk on mental health. As you can, we have touched.
And remember, Alex, you saw that. Anyway, you know, the other thing is that we have to, in terms of social media, we actually have to distinguish which one is true, which one is not true. I think I can trust those like from credible media houses. Because there's maybe a radio station that got a page online, I can trust those. Yeah, but then I feel like there have been so many pages actually posting issues of suicide, we don't even know how true it is.
Oh, yeah.
They don't even know how credible these media houses are. They're just social media. They're not even really guided by the IBA or anything. I feel like these are actually causing alarm.
Yeah,
and these
exactly.
need to actually be regulated.
And it goes to us really as media entities to be careful how we project society, because we are the mirror of the society we are taught. And
I feel like
that
this is raising alarm in the country,
yes.
causing unnecessary commotion and all that.
Yeah. Given an instance that is not true, why do you put it out there? For what reason?
I've personally experienced where maybe this year you see this story on maybe this online newspaper, you see this story. The next year you see the exact same story. I'm like, this is an old story.
Yeah.
Why are you making it seem like it has happened now? So I think in terms of suicide, because it's more like every day we're hearing this person has killed themselves, that person has killed themselves, that. So like reading which one is true, which one is not, which one has been verified by the Zambia police.
Yeah.
I feel like statistics should be like official. Like the Zambia police, then they distribute them to credible media houses so that, and this should be handled in a proper way to avoid causing maybe alarm and actually spiking the numbers of suicides.
Yeah. So hence the topic that is under discussion from Dr. Francis Bwalia, who started it yesterday with talk of mental health, really. And today we continue with the same topic, but now with symptoms and presentations. So as you may know, there are things that you need to actually be able to tell if a person is suffering from any sort of mental health. And there are presentations that you need to actually to deduce how far and to what degree a person is suffering from mental health issues. So basically we're going to have that conversation today, and we hope that we're going to learn a lot, and just like always, so that we can have a clear picture, because you know mental health is for a long time deemed to be something with a illness connotation attached to it, and people feel uncomfortable to have these conversations. They would feel you're being somehow out of this world to come up with such topics, especially when you're talking to a friend. Have you considered to have a counselor or something? They'll feel very demeaning because something that they don't feel it's normal. Yes. So if we're going to normalize these conversations, I'm sure we're going to have these cases reduced, the cases of suicide, if not just to get to zero cases, possibly, because people are now enlightened, people are now educated, they're well informed, and they're free to talk about mental health as it were.
Yeah, so let us have the doctor join us to explain actually all this.
Yes, very important.
Good morning. My name is Francisca Bwalia. I'm a medical doctor by profession, and I've specialized in psychiatry, the mental health field of medicine. And today I'm representing the Medical Women Association of Zambia, MWAZ, as we create awareness around mental health. We're going to continue and speak about mental health. We had done an introduction and spoken about what mental health is, and I believe we have gotten a better appreciation of what mental health is. So we'll go a step further and say, how does mental health actually present itself? How does mental health present itself? And earlier we alluded to the aspect that, is it the severe presentation that a lot of people are accustomed with, where they hear of someone trying to end their life, or they see someone undressing in public, being violent, very aggressive. Is that the only presentation of mental health or psychiatric presentation? Taking into consideration that we're not just speaking of illness or disease, but we're talking about a spectrum of well-being, about one being in optimal mental health. And when we speak about optimal mental health, we're talking about an individual being at a place where they're their best in their cognition, in the way they think, in the way they make decisions, apply themselves. They're very productive. And even when it comes to managing their mood, they're able to manage their mood well. They're able to compose themselves in different circumstances and situations. And they're able to socialize well with others. So already, just from the various aspects that I'm bringing out, one can also deduce the various symptoms that one can look out for when we're talking about mental health. So some of them may seem very simple, but they're very significant to one's mental well-being. How is one sleeping? It can be on either extreme. Are you sleeping a lot? You just constantly find yourself, you can't wake up, or you don't want to wake up, you just want to be lying down. Or are you not sleeping at all? You're having difficulty sleeping, you can't, or when you sleep, you only sleep for a few hours, you're awake again, or when you wake up, you're so tired, you don't feel refreshed after sleeping. Those can present in various ways, as well as one's eating habits. Are you finding yourself eating a lot? For others, actually, that's a negative coping mechanism, whereby now one is just eating a lot, they feel they can eat their problems away, or they want to just shut down and one just keeps eating. Or on the other extreme, one is not eating at all, they can't eat. Even if they've been active, even if it reaches that point where they know that, okay, I should have eaten, my body needs something, but they have no appetite. They can't apply themselves to eat. One's mood, very common. Presentation. How are you feeling most of the time? Would you say you're in control of how you feel or your mood and in different circumstances? Or are you labile? Are you feeling mostly sad most of the times? Or do you feel you're not able to control your mood in various circumstances? All these can be telltale signs of one's mental health not being in the best place. Then further, how is your thinking in general? What type of thoughts do you constantly have? Are they positive? Are they productive? Are they thoughts that push you to apply yourself in a positive way? Or are they usually negative? Are they mostly paranoid type of thoughts? Or thoughts of harming oneself or harming others? Or looking negative at world, life, work, school, various areas of our lives? How is our thought pattern? And how is our thinking in general? How is your memory? How are you applying yourself? How are you making decisions? Then as well, how we are socially. As human beings, we're social beings. So our social aspect is also very important to our general well-being. So here we see, is someone constantly isolating themselves, having difficulty to interact with others? Already one can tell that, okay, something is wrong. Even the things that maybe one used to enjoy socially or as hobbies, you find that now they're such a difficult thing to do or want to apply themselves. And for others, when it comes to coping approaches, are you one of those, maybe you never used to take any alcohol, then all of a sudden you just find yourself you're taking alcohol, or using illicit drugs, heroin, cocaine, codeine to cope with life or various stresses? Or for those who take alcohol already, you find yourself consuming more than you usually used to, and it's starting to affect various areas of your life. Those are telltale signs. And in other incidents, one can actually even present with physical symptoms. Physical presentations which are not adding up. You go to the hospital, investigations are done, but nothing can be picked up. Because certain mental health presentations can actually present with physical symptoms. Then of course, another extreme is the symptoms that we call psychotic symptoms, which a lot of times people are quick to associate with mental health and psychiatry, which of course is understandable. Though when we talk about mental health presentations, it's more than that. And these are the symptoms whereby now someone is hearing voices when there's no one around them or no one talking to them. Or one is seeing things that other people are not seeing. Or one is having very unusual thoughts. Maybe someone believes that someone wants to kill them, but there's no evidence for that. Or people are after them, trying to harm them. So already we're seeing that there are various presentations of mental health symptoms, and it's important for us to appreciate some of these symptoms, because it's only when we are aware that we can now actually recognize some of these symptoms when we're experiencing them, and then we can intervene and actually do something about them. And we want to reach a place whereby we just don't think of these symptoms when they are severe, but we're able to monitor our mental well-being on a daily basis, just like we're able to for our physical health. Because when we talk about our physical health, one is able to say, okay, I think I'm not fine, I've got a headache, okay, maybe let me try and take some water to help the headache, maybe let me take a minimal analgesic like paracetamol to help with the headache. If it persists, we probably even seek medical attention for that. But are we able to recognize as well when we're not our best mentally, so that we intervene? If you're able to recognize that, okay, you know what, I don't know, I'm having difficulty sleeping, I think my mood, I'm not regulating, you are actually able to take time and reflect like, okay, why am I in this state? You take time to assess, analyze your life, what's going on, what could really be affecting me, and probably intervene at that point. And in that way, one will prevent severe presentation. So it's important for us to understand some of these presentations of mental health so that we can better take care of ourselves. And for those of us who are listening and following, let's look out for these symptoms in the people around us, in our loved ones, in our colleagues, with our colleagues, with our church mates, and with ourselves especially. Let's look out for these symptoms so that we can take the necessary steps if need be. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Walia, for that profound information, really, on the mental health symptoms and presentations. Quite important information that people need to get out there, Zipporah. As you may recall from her presentation, she says there are certain things that are not even severe, but we're able to detect them. And if you're having any unusual experience, like for instance, those people who take alcohol, you've been taking alcohol, but now it's becoming worse. Try to sit back and check, is this behavior really mine? And look out for help from professionals and also those people you can talk to, which is very important. So we go on to our next segment, which we're just giving an update on the market, really, and considering that the exchange rate is changing day by day, and we need just to take track of the changes, if any. So today's money market updated today on the 8th of March 2022. The Great British Pound is actually buying at 23 kwacha 0.61 ngwe and selling at 24 kwacha 0.06 ngwe. The United States dollars is buying at 17 kwacha 0.91 ngwe and selling at 18 kwacha 0.25 ngwe. The euro is buying at 18 kwacha 0.89 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 0.26 ngwe. The South African rand is buying at 1 kwacha 0.17 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 0.19 ngwe. There you have it. And we can see a bit of maintained from the selling side of the United States dollars to kwacha on 18 kwacha.
I think yesterday it was 18 kwacha 20 ngwe, today it was 18 kwacha 25 ngwe. So that's 5 ngwe up. Wow. So that's the money market for today. And moving on to zooming the headlines, Alex, yesterday we had a story from Mr. District where the district commissioner was actually saying we actually have to think of ways of how we can add value to our agriculture products, because the civil society for scaling up nutrition actually commemorates actually a day called World Food Waste Day. Okay. So we have a lot of food that goes to waste in the world, which could have actually been used for maybe something productive. So for example, in Zambia, they're saying about a quarter of food that farmers produce actually goes to waste. So they're saying, why don't we actually, so the DC was saying, why don't we add value? For example, soya beans, we can actually make soya chunks, we can make maize beverages out of maize and all this, but this has to be done locally, not by the companies, but by the local people themselves. So they're saying, even as they're empowering local people through cooperatives using CDF, also empower them with machines. They also need machines to actually store, to actually add value to some of these products, so that they just don't sell them in their raw form, because of course we've got factors like wastage, which are actually a threat to how much they can get from this.
Well, that's a genuine call. Let's just take a look on that clip and then get to learn what this is talking about.
Across the country, producing tons of agriculture products annually, few can be seen to graduate from subsistence to commercial farming, citing a number of challenges, among them access to finance. With the increase in Constituency Development Fund CDA from 1.6 million kwacha to 25.7 million kwacha, citizens have been advised to form cooperatives if to fully benefit from the funds. While noting this to be a good move, Chikankata District Commissioner Mr. Timothy Chipolyonga says there is need to invest in machinery for the local people to ensure that they add value to their products. According to a survey by the Civil Society for Scaling Up Nutrition in CSOSAN, at least a quarter of food produced by Zambian farmers goes to waste due to poor storage mechanisms, among other reasons. The Chikankata DC says adding value to products could prevent wastage and maximize returns for farmers.
I think the major project that we're looking at is the issue of turning our potatoes into chips. The land is fertile, and when we grow it, it really comes out nicely. So I think once we do that, we'll do value addition, and I think money will be there for the people. We're looking at soybeans. Once we have done that, I think it will add value to the food nutrition of the areas.
He has also emphasized the need to ensure that all districts have water dams in order to help in irrigation due to climate change.
Like here where we are, yes, the first rains, the last time we had the rains were the first week of February, here where we are. But then other areas, I think they've had isolated showers. But right now, if we went to inspect one of the fields, you'll see that the maize has dried up. So it's a big challenge. We also look at where we can get money so that we put up dams. Now these dams, we use them for irrigation. We have a lot of areas that we can put dams. As you know, climate change has affected us mostly.
Among the products that can be manufactured locally by farmers on a large scale are maize beverages, snacks, and soya chunks, among others. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Chikankata District. So there you have it, a story emphasizing on value addition, because in Zambia we have seen for a long time now where farmers have been producing a lot of products, but these go to waste. One simple example is tomatoes. So tomatoes easily go to waste, but people have been saying we can actually transform this into into products like tomato paste and actually get more value locally from our own produce.
Let's get rolling to get that us to speed. We have joined in by our first guest, Major Oscar Chilumba from Young Women Christian Association, was actually country director here in the studios. Good morning, sir.
No, it's my pleasure to be here.
Good morning, welcome to the show.
It's my pleasure to be here.
It's your first time to be in our studios, right?
Yes.
Maybe just a brief introduction, and also what does the Young Women Christian Association do with a brief background so that people can actually get to know you.
Okay. Young Women Christian Association, it's a non-government organization, okay, that helps centered much on the girl child, women, the welfare of and the life of women and the girl child.
Okay, and apart from that, you hold many other titles, isn't it? You've got some other advocacy titles. What other titles do you, what does your work involve?
Okay, I'm a youth activist, I'm an author. Okay, I'm an award-winning book writer. I recently won an award in Malawi on a title book called Child Marriages. And we last week we recently released a book called Before You Say I Do. Okay, so it's
on marriage,
on marriage and relationship.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, and so today you are joining the world in commemorating International Women's Day, and today's theme is gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
And so maybe basically zooming in on issues of gender-based violence, you're actually going to undertake a campaign. Is it this Friday?
It is Friday,
talking
yes.
about gender-based violence. How serious do you feel the issue of gender-based violence is right now in the country?
Okay, gender-based violence, it's I think it's I can say it's a theme or a topic that has been preached or sensitized by different or various organizations. So this Friday we've got an awareness campaign in Kanyama. It's called Child Marriages and GBVs Awareness, somewhere in Kanyama, Chikurukuria area. So when you look at a lot of young women and men, they've now started misinterpreting the values of GBVs and so forth and so on. So when you look at in our country, we've got about 62% of GBVs. So meaning the percentage has risen. People are killing each other. Okay, people are assaulting each other. So what's the causes of all this? So we need there's a place in Kanyama called Mtandavanto area, somewhere there. So there's about 4-5% of these GBVs. So be going compound to compound in sensitizing about gender values and the importance of women as we are celebrating the Women's Day today. Oh yes.
Great. So what activities really attached to this campaign?
So, okay. The activities that attach to this campaign now, we've got, we invited different school-going children okay, to advocate about child marriage, and we invited some few organizations that deals with women, okay, so to come and learn, and some other organizations that that deals with men. Okay, so we are sensitizing. So we've looked at the number of issues that are leading to GBVs. Okay, we've looked at the warfare of education. We've looked at the warfare of one must know. No wonder you need to, before you say I do, there are some things that you need to put in place. Okay, because marriage it's one's I call it it's one's last option. It's something eternity, it's something everlasting. So when you decide to say you get married, does not mean that tomorrow you need to come out. So maybe tomorrow you come out with maybe shame, or you come out with maybe to be your marriage will be maybe in terms of glory. So it's a two-way thing. So before you say I do, there are some procedures we are taking time to teach at that day to those that are having conflicts in their marriages, those that are facing kinds of maybe different problems in their marriages. So we are taking time to sensitize this Friday in Kanyama.
Okay, from your own advocacy activities, what are some of the causes that you've actually established to be the cause of GBVs? But before you answer that question, I'm curious really. One would expect, logically speaking, the country director to be female from Young Women Christian Association. Is there a particular story that maybe drove you to join the women empowerment schemes and everything that you're doing as a male figure?
Okay, I think passion led me to, okay, and because I started authoring books, I think when I was in grade somewhere 10, 9, about GBVs, child marriages, and so forth and so on. So we recently had another awareness campaign, which we invited the Vice Republican President, I think some 2-3 months ago. So basically, when you have got passion to teach something, when you've got passion to over something, I think everything is possible.
Regardless your sex or something, you can do.
You can do everything. Oh yes, you can do everything as long as
there's a common statement that is going around to say the future is female.
Oh yes.
And given that you are male, are you comfortable with that statement?
Like when on my preamble, I said something like the misinterpretation of gender values. Okay, when you look at gender has been there, in the Bible. Okay, it has been there all days. We've been following all these genders, whatever, and so forth and so on. So when you look at now in our generation, it has just changed. Okay, it has changed in the sense that you find that now women, what a man can do, a woman also can do. So now we need to, with this sensitization, we are taking time to teach them. People must understand. It does not mean that if a woman can do, a man cannot do. So we need to put everything in place. So a lot of maybe young men, young women, they are misinterpreting these core values. So, for example, when I say okay, you cannot do better, a woman can do better, it automatically be offended. But when you understand the content and statement to say what is it that a woman can do that a man can't do, or what is it that a man can do, a woman can do. So you need to understand. So a lot are misinterpreting the understanding, that content. They are misunderstanding it.
Great. So maybe before Zipporah just drops in, I ask you about the causes that you've established as an organization.
Oh, yes.
What leads to GBV? And you've talked about something very important in terms of equality, really, what men can do, women can do. Don't you think this contributes to the confusion that we're having in domestic?
Look, I think this depends on how one has been brought up. Because we meet different people, okay, and we meet different people in our society, and we learn things differently. So when I say what a man can do, a woman also can do, I might mean educational-wise, okay, I might mean employment-wise. I'll give an example. At YWCA, it's an organization that has been instituted maybe by women, you understand that? So it does not mean that when you say what a man cannot do, a woman can do, so automatically be offended to say.
For instance, so today you are the one washing the plates. Today you are the one cooking because I cooked yesterday. Such conversation are the stories we're having, maybe, contributing to conflicts in homes. She told me to wash my own clothes because she's.
But they are your clothes, Alex.
I know.
Let him answer. So what agenda are you?
All right, okay.
Clarifying this statement.
As much as one can be on top, as much as maybe a woman can be a president. I'll give an example. In Tanzania, we've got a female who's president. Okay, as much as one can be in Zambia, we've got a vice president who is a female. So, but she's married. So one should know the role, his or her roles. You understand? As much as I might, for example, I'm married. Okay, I'm a happily married man. So as much as I've been married, it does not mean that I can't wash. I cannot whatever. So I need to, you need to understand and know to say, okay, things are this, things are that. So
things have changed.
Things have changed. Okay.
And I have to wash my own clothes.
And you need to, I know, not necessarily you washing your own clothes, but
you need to
understand.
Yeah, and that's why we are actually inviting you. There are numbers that are scrolling on your screens. If you are able to actually call or maybe drop a text, even on social media, Facebook to be specific, you can drop a comment in the comment section to just get your view on this topic as we commemorate the Women's Day in Zambia. You know, on a theme of gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. What would be your contribution and your thought on that? We're having a controversial moment right now, challenging Mr.
Major Chilomba.
The Major Chilomba to just clarify certain things that are actually complicating this topic in homes. You can actually bear witness. We've had complaints, thousands of them, just over a spoon, for instance. No, she told me it's you cooking today. She told me it's you washing. So how you clarifying, being an organization that are actually advocating for this information to be well understood in context and in content, how are you managing really, especially in Kanyama, which is quite a peri-urban area? How are you managing to actually clarify these?
First of all, how we are managing, we had to put measures in place. Okay, first measures that we had to put in place was we thought of sensitizing, going deep in these compounds, shanty compounds, where these levels of maybe GBVs are kind of arising. Okay, we thought if we put in measures to sensitize, like we call women, we call men, we call these people, then we try now to find out what is causing all these GBVs. So first of all, we discussed and discovered one is the levels of poverty. Okay, levels of poverty will lead one maybe to in assaulting or whatever. So you need to understand the poverty levels in these compounds that we are living in. Then secondly, we have to find out the level of education. Okay, as far as you can be a man, you can be a woman. There's a level of education, level of understanding things. Do you know that maybe it's very normal where you find a guys you know, such a thing, and no one can't compromise. You can't compromise. It's just something normal. Now looking at to a young man like you with a tie going home to say papa mwana wash, automatically be like me this, me with this. It's something that will weird your mind. It's something that you be like, no, to me this thing isn't normal. Okay, so now you need to understand as much as you can be taught to wash. What if your partner is sick? Okay, what if your partner is amputated? So you need to understand the level of understanding. Understanding is in levels. Okay, there are men, I've seen there are men who wash. There are men. It does not mean that maybe they've been charmed or something. It's just the level of understanding. So this Friday we are taking time to sensitize men and women about the level of understanding. Okay, you just said you love, but put your love in practice. Don't you know that the love can be in washing? Don't you know that the love can be in taking care of your wife? Don't you know that the love can make you maybe support your wife to be better than you are? That's love. So we are trying to break down the level of love. Okay, love does not mean that when you just love, then you cannot be under, like, let me give you this issue. When I was growing up, I used to say my wife, I cannot marry a woman who is better than me. I had that with me. I was
by
like,
better, you mean in which context?
I meant that more educated. I can't marry a woman who is more educated. I cannot marry a woman who is working. Like I was like, I want everything to be me. I want everything to be me. Like me, I want everything to I can control the atmosphere and everything. But I didn't know to say, as much as I am growing, okay, my level of growing and understanding also is changing. My level of knowing things, growing up, also that level does what? It all changes. You get my point? So that when you grow, there's a certain level of when you grow, you'll be able to understand to say, I need my help. I mean, the Bible, okay, it says women are helpers. What if today I don't have? Okay, I'll give an example. When I was coming here, I was like, how am I going to move? My madam came, dropped me here. I was like, okay, go. Then she went back. You understand? So women are definitely helpers. They are helpers. They help us achieve our destination.
She's living the day of women there.
So that women are advocating for gender equality both at national level and also in their home.
Sensitizing starts in your own home. If I cannot sensitize my own home, how would I be able to sensitize?
And especially now, things has been an issue in a time where women are working. You find that both the man is working and the woman is working, but when you come home, you find that the woman has got chores like cooking and all that, meaning the woman never even has any free time. I don't know how you look at such issues.
One thing, like, you
Alex
need to understand.
It's interesting that you're taking
You need to understand the level of understanding. Okay, these women, any woman you meet has her level of understanding and her level of doing things. Okay, so don't underestimate any woman you see. They are slay queens. These women, they're in categories. They are slay queens. There are those that are ignorant, arrogant. So these women, they are in types, you understand? But they are all women. They are all special. Any woman we meet, all these women, they are all special. Okay, in their own way.
Yes, and if you are joining us, please do drop in your comments on the numbers that are scrolling on your screen. We are discussing something which is of interest right now, saying should women only be allowed to cook in the home, for example, looking at gender equality both in the home and at national level. How do you think this gender equality can be achieved? Is it on at national level or also in the home? And so maybe basically talking about free education, we now have the free education policy. What do you think this will actually mean for the female folk?
All right, okay. This free education is something that a lot, I think 70% have understood it. They've understood the policy of free education. And like I was in Kabwe yesterday and some 2 days ago, where there are some schools that are still having that challenge. They are saying, no, for us to find a place okay, it will take us, it takes us maybe 3, 4, 5 months. So this free education, it's not working anymore. But people need to, again, we are taking time to sensitize, okay? It does not mean that when they say free education, then now if you go there, you don't have a place, then it's no longer free education. No. So a lot in our community, one, they've learned out of patience, okay? There's no patience, and when you look at what is circulating on social media and in these media houses, like I watched somewhere there in Bowling where a head teacher was being interrogated to say, why are you selling this? Or why are you making fees, why are you making people pay, you know, such kind of a thing. So now when we take time, like as we are going into compounds to sensitize about child marriage, we are making sure that we teach these, our mothers and whatever, about the importance of child marriage. I mean, the importance of them going to school, them going back to school, or them knowing the importance of school through this free education policy that has been introduced by our new Dawn government.
Indeed. How do you, merge the two between the advancement of women empowerment and women advocacy and culture? How do the two reconcile? Okay.
That's a great question. In fact, when we were in Cabo, we are doing there's this empowerment going on. The one with UNDP. There's one with YAO. So I would urge, I think, these cooperative, maybe these young women or young men, I think to find themselves into these organization, so that there's these empowerments that are going on, of which I attended one, 2, 3 days ago under UNDP. Okay. So one thing that we need to sensitize, a lot of women, a lot of these GBVs and so forth and so on, they are happening because women feel they are just ordinary housewives. Okay, women feel they are just the way they are, they cannot do anything. Okay, any woman can do anything. Okay, can do anything. What a man can do, a woman also can do. I always get inspired by my mentor. She's Mrs. Mzingamelo. She's Absa DG. This woman has been my inspiration. She's holding that position for quite some time now. Okay. Of which that position, it's for men, you understand, but she's had that position for some time. Why? Why is it like that, or why are things like that? It's because of the core values that she's been telling me always to say, Major, what a man can do, a woman also can do. I've been asking her, Mommy, why? She's been always saying to me to say, when you understand the core values, your integrity, you can always achieve anything that you'd want to achieve.
That's a great one, Zipra.
And on that note, we actually compiled a story talking about how free education will actually impact gender equality. So let's take a look at that story on gender equality. Latest United Nations data indicates that Zambia is a highly impoverished country with over half of the population living in extreme poverty. Zambia is also a country characterized by great inequalities, meaning that the gap between the rich and the poor is wide. This means that while many people are able to afford private school education for their children, others struggle to pay even the little amount paid in public schools. The coming into effect of the free education policy following the opening of schools Monday has elated a gender-based non-governmental organization which says this will help in meeting the country's 2030 gender equality goals. In an interview, Women for Change Executive Director Ms. Lumba Sianga says more girls going to school will see a reduction in early marriages, teenage pregnancies, and will help more women know their rights, hence reducing the cases of gender-based violence, as women are mostly the victims.
So we expect the poverty cycle also to start breaking down and not regenerating, because educated women will be able to participate not only in the political arena but also in the economic arena in terms of accessing economic empowerment. It's much easier when you have information, when you are educated, you know where to access certain facilities because you are knowledgeable. So it will also lead to economic empowerment of women. And education will also lead to the social empowerment of women in terms of enhancing their leadership skills and also breaking some of the cultural barriers that hinder women from full participation.
She says apart from increasing the number of women participating in politics, free education will also give the country added human resource which is needed to develop.
So we expect the dropout rate of girls to reduce because of free education and because of free education and also the support that they will be receiving within school and also in the communities. The other long-term benefit of ensuring that girls are in school is that we'll have more girls completing school with grade 12s, and this will be beneficial in the sense that we'll have more women that will be able to participate in decision making because our participation in politics, especially certain positions like councillor, local government level, to be MP and to be mayor or president, you need to have at least a grade 12 certificate. So most girls will be given that opportunity now since there is free education.
The free education policy has excited various stakeholders and citizens as they wait to see how it will unfold. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. And so there you have it. So that story is actually talking about how free education will actually ensure that more women participate in politics because more girl children will be educated, especially that a grade 12 certificate is actually a minimum requirement if you want to stand for these political positions. And so going back to a topic, we're talking about women in general and maybe zooming in on GBV, especially that on Friday you have a campaign aimed at raising gender-based violence awareness on GBV issues. So why is it that year after year we still have a high number of GBV cases in the country? What could be the major reason which actually needs to be tackled?
Okay, I think on that one, it's a topic we had in Makululu. Of which a lot needs to, GBV, it's a self-controlled matter. Okay, we are there to sensitize, but we can sensitize today, we can sensitize now, but you'd find that, no, you'd find that, you've gone to beat your wife home. You understand? It's something that just comes there and then. So it's a heart content. It's an emotional content. No wonder we on Friday, we are taking time to tell people there are about 5 forms of controlling your temper. It's a topic on its own. We are sensitizing, telling the 5 contents of controlling your temper. There are forms of cooling your anger. Okay, cooling the kind of situation that you are into, just like that. Because when I say okay, these are measures that will put in place to avoid you do GBVs, but at the end of the day, when you go home, you find maybe your wife is in bed with another man, or your husband maybe he's cheating on you, because all these things comes with conflict. Where does conflict? It's where 2 or 3, maybe it's where 1 or 2 they've had that misunderstanding. The misunderstanding of maybe cheating, the misunderstanding of maybe money, maybe the misunderstanding of maybe having side chicks or having another extramarital affairs. So those are the what's this? Those are the things that are causing these GBVs to arise. So now, how can we make sure that all those things, are put it in place? How can we avoid such things? So it's an individual. You need to work that as an individual. Okay. Why you working it as an individual? Because you act it as an individual. Okay. So when you act it as an individual, then it affects the society. It affects your family. It affects friends and family. So we that day we will be taking time to cancel There'll be counselors at that day where there'll be one-on-one counseling. Maybe you've got an issue that you've not spelled it out. Maybe you've got an issue that it is not yet, you've not yet, what's this, it's not yet out. And you've holding it maybe for years and ages. At one day, to make you maybe react, maybe to make you do something that you regret, because 90% of those that are involved in GBVs, when we've got some programs of visiting maybe prisons, police, whatever. There are reports we receive to say, no, I did it out of anger. I did it because I was in pain. It's an individual. So when we take time to begin counseling, like we've got a program again where we are trying to find out why is this maybe my suicide increased? Why are people killing themselves? Why is this suicide whatever? You know, Waku Church automatically they are saying me in my demon and so forth and so on. But to the physical part, what is it that is happening? What can we do to avoid such things? So it's in you. So we need to take time to counsel people inwardly. They need to know the importance of love. They need to know the importance of self-control. They need to know the importance of avoiding certain matters. Okay, because when they say no, a woman cannot do this, enough to beat. Some beat for their heart to cool. Some maybe they would want to kill if they see blood. Maybe their heart maybe will be cool. A lot of people they get comfort in several ways. So you'd find that maybe if I beat, that's when now I'll be at peace. If I kill, that's when now I'll be at peace. But that's not a solution. A solution is in talking. I talk to you, you talk to me. Then we'll resolve matters.
Great. Major Oscar Chilumba is actually the outgoing Young Women Christian Association country director, and we've been having him just to discuss issues pertaining to GBV in our country that has been with us since time immemorial, really. What would be your last remarks, even as we conclude on this particular segment? Given that we're celebrating the International Women's Day on a theme, gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow, what message do you have for our viewers out there?
Now, my message for all my beautiful mothers, I know it's not an easy thing carrying a child. No, I always say a man is the head of the house, but a woman is the head of the kitchen. Okay, a woman is the head of the kitchen. A man is the head of the house.
Well, why is that? Why is the kitchen?
A woman controls the kitchen. A man controls the house.
Meaning she cooks?
Meaning she
No,
to
let
be
me
specific.
tell you one thing, Alex. Me personally, I've grown up in a household that actually believes in gender equality. My father was a lecturer of civic education, and you find that whether a boy or girl at my place, you cook. So really,
Same as mine.
you cook whether
I'm
a
just
male or
being
female.
naughty here
My mother
because
was a lecturer of civic education, believes in gender equality. So at our home, you cook whether a male or female.
which is actually supposed to be.
So,
I'm just interested because you
the head of the
said
kitchen.
she's the head of the kitchen. So I'm like, no, let me probe a bit. All right, okay. So you have to tell him to say what he didn't intend. That's a message he prepared. Moreover, it's addressing to the. So talk to them.
Yeah, so one thing that you need to understand before you act, before you beat, okay, before you insult, before you utter anything bad to your partner, you need to work on your temper. First, cool down, okay? When you cool down, then now call that partner, you say, honey, daddy, why is this keeping on repeating on itself? Okay, some they've engaged themselves into substance abuse, abusing themselves, maybe alcohol, smoking, doing sorts of things for them to have that relief, for them to have that that relief inside their heart. But that's not the way they sort out matters. Okay, so wherever you are hearing me, maybe you've got an issue that is it's troubling you. Maybe you've got a marital issue, a relationship issue that you feel you can kill yourself. Maybe you feel you can just take your own life. Okay, I have a good news for you. This Friday will be in Kanyama at Chikurukulia area, okay, where there will be counselors. Okay, come with your issue, with your marital issues that maybe you've been going through maritally, or maybe in a relationship. Will be there to counsel you, okay, will be there to guide you, will be there to give you direction pertaining to the issue that has been eating you up. because our aim by 2030, we need to make Lusaka, Zambia, as a GBV free. That's our aim. So be with us this Friday, okay? And we'll be able to cancel you, and everything will be over.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Major.
I'm humbled
to cover you on that day to just hear more as you
exactly.
It's my pleasure.
Awareness about GBV.
Exactly.
And on that note, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to be joined by Madam Judith Kabemba, who's going to help us discuss women participation in politics. So do join us on the other side.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
We still need more players, yes, because we need to balance the team. We need to have maybe on one position 3 or 4 players.
The third Camnet Stars football trial is on. This time, Camnet Stars are looking for young, talented and skilled soccer players between the age of 18 and 20 years old. Start your lucrative football career in Europe this July. If you know you are one of Zambia's best gifted soccer players, don't waste your time. On Sunday, the 13th March 2022, there will be trials for professional soccer stars. Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Time, registration 13 hours. Kick-off 14 hours. 100 kwacha non-refundable shall be paid, and your birth records must be produced upon registration. Camnet Stars, setting football standards for international market.
Thank you for joining us. And in case for those people who are actually joining us here on our breakfast show, we're now just taking another level to our breakfast show, where we're joined by Madam Judith Kabemba, DP office bearer, is it? And we are glad that she's coming at a quite timely point where we're celebrating Women Day in Zambia and also across the globe, on a theme dubbed Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Development. Good morning, and how are you doing, madam?
Good morning, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and good morning
Women's
to our
Day.
viewers. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd love to actually wish you a happy Women's Day, especially that you're actually suitable to discuss the national development and participation of women, given that there are a lot of protocols being signed in that regard, a lot of sensitization on women empowerment, a lot of advocacy going around the country. Really, what would be your opening remarks considering the commemoration of today?
Well, let me begin by saying a happy Women's Day to all the women out there. and to also say that as Democratic Party, we appreciate the contributions that various women in our societies have been making. We have women that have sacrificed for this country, women that have done so much. And to everybody who is a mother out there, I know it's not easy to be a mother. Happy Women's Day.
Indeed.
And maybe just to begin, how do you look at the current political atmosphere in Zambia? Does it support women participation in politics?
Well, when you look at our political atmosphere in this country, it's quite a very complicated one. It's a very complicated one. I think you agree with me that for so many years, Zambia has been talking about achieving the 50-50% parity. And by and large, we have failed to do that. And when you look at where we are currently, you will see that instead of the numbers going up, the numbers are going down. Despite every year having celebrations, having speeches, having this and that, but it has not given us what we want to achieve. And therefore, for us as Democratic Party, we are saying that there should be a change of paradigm. There should be a paradigm shift where we begin looking at what is it that we need to do as a country. What is it that we haven't done right in order to achieve the numbers that we are looking at? Because truth be told, today when you look at the National Assembly, the numbers have gone down. When you look at the councils, the numbers have gone down. When you look at the cabinet, the numbers have gone down. Despite all the speeches, today we are commemorating Women's Day. We'll have women marching all across the country. We will see speeches all across the country. But is that translating in what we want to achieve as a country or what we have been trying to achieve? The answer is no. And therefore, what do we need to do? As DP, we are saying what we need to do now is that we need to begin creating laws that should begin promoting and laws that should compel a certain percentage of women to be represented. If we leave matters the way they are, believe you me, year in, year out, we will talk and nothing will happen. We have countries like Rwanda. I am aware that on 18th January, should be 2018, Rwanda made a decision to make a constitutional amendment in their country. And one of the things that they included in their constitution was that 30% of the seats in the National Assembly should be reserved for the women. Today, Rwanda is one of the countries that you can look at and successfully say they have done it. Now, when we come back to Zambia, Zambia has laws in our constitution, but the laws that we have currently are non-justiciable. They are non-justiciable because they are simply hanging in the air. Nobody can be followed. Nobody can be penalized, and that's why we are where we are. So for us as DP, this year, our word to the nation, our word to the government is that we need a constitutional amendment which should include that 45% of the seats in the National Assembly should be reserved for the women. How do we do this, Zipporah? Currently, in our constitution, let me begin by looking at Article 45. So Article 45, Article 45(1)(b), I must say, it talks about equality, okay? Gender equality in the electoral process, because that's a clause, or that's the article that talks about electoral system and processes. So in Article 45, in C, it talks about fair representation, and in D, it talks about gender equity. Today, the National Assembly is not balanced. And yet we have that article which is saying that there should be gender equity, which is saying that there should be fairness. We should have women, we should have youths. Is there anything that has been done to make sure that that particular law is applied? Nothing. Today, we are all aware that the National Assembly is not balanced. But because our laws are non-justiciable, we can't sue anybody. Who do I wake up and go and sue to say the electoral process is not followed? Is it ECZ?
Actually, my question, you've actually touched on a very quite specified word, which is to compel. And when you say compel, how are you doing it? Is it in terms of, like you've said, suing someone, and who's accountable for that?
Yes, like I'm saying, in that particular clause in the electoral system and processes, it's open. It doesn't tell, is it the ECZ to sue? Is it the National Assembly? Is it the President? Is it the government in totality? It doesn't. So it leaves matters hanging. We need laws that are obligatory. For example, we have Article 68. And in Article 68, we have the article in there that says that the President shall nominate up to 8 members of Parliament. And Article 69 goes further to give guidance to say, as the President is nominating those 8 members, he should consider various interest groups, which obviously talks about the youths, the women, and those with various skills. So for us as DP, we are saying, yes, that law is there, but it's open. It's open.
So
it's ambiguous.
Actualize it.
There is nothing to compel the President to nominate women there. It just says 8. So if the President wants, he can nominate all men. He can nominate all women. So what we are saying is that in the constitutional reforms, in the laws that we need to have as a country, that clause, that article should proceed by saying, out of the 8 that the President should nominate, 5 shall be women. It means that it's obligatory. The President is compelled. Whether he likes it or not, he will need to appoint 5 women. And that will help us get the numbers that we want. Look at Article 60. Article 60 of the Constitution of this country talks about political parties sponsoring candidates. Okay? And what we are saying as DP is that that article can be extended by saying each political party should sponsor at least 45% of women during elections, because that is the beginning point. If a political party only takes up 5 women, 2%, 3% of the number of people they have adopted for that particular election, what do you expect? The end result will be nothing but what we are seeing today. But if that particular article is extended, where it says political parties shall sponsor candidates to the office of President, Vice President, but now it should say specifically National Assembly, councils, mayors at 45%. It means even political parties that don't want to support and sponsor women, they will be compelled by the law. And they should be deliberate clauses, because we are talking about achieving something that we have failed to achieve.
By 2030, you want to achieve gender equality?
By 2030. So we should say a political party that fails to meet or that fails to oblige to that particular law should be disqualified from participating in elections. That way, when we have laws that are obligatory, this country will achieve. Otherwise, without laws in place, it will be a story. Besides, we are a country of laws rather than men. Why can't we put up laws that will support women, that will support the youths, that will support the disabled in our society? And let me also be quick to point out that even as we are talking about enhancing and putting up all those laws as DP, we are not saying that we are just crying as women to say, no, because we are women, so give us this, give us this. No, 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 no. We are also looking at a situation where the women that are given those positions should be equal to the task. Professionalism should be there. A level of education should be there. A level of understanding should be there. And currently where we are, the question is, does Zambia have such kind of women? The answer is yes, we are there.
I was actually coming to that. Given the proposal, 45% of seats in the National Assembly and also 30% consideration of endorsements in the political party, within the political parties, there is a school of thought really considering how capable women in our country, and also given an opportunity, are they able to really grab it with that aggressiveness? Because we've seen that an invitation will be passed, but most to come on board will be men. So what would be your call really, and how do you justify that point to say they are nowhere to be found, even if given, okay, we're going to consider 45% of seats in the National Assembly, are we sure we're going to have women to aggressively come on board and say, I'm interested in this?
I'm very certain that we are going to have women, because today Zambia has a bank of knowledge in women. We have a lot of women out there who are able to take up leadership, and when they take up leadership, they are able to do it with maturity, with honesty and transparency. I mean, we have had women in various sectors, both in the political arena and in the corporate world, and these women have performed very well. All that the women need is support. All the women need is support. Women are able to do it, and believe you me, once this country will have a good number of women representing it, things will change, because naturally women have got a heart. Women have got a heart. Even when they want to do something wrong, they will always think about the repercussion. What if? What if? And that what if holds the woman from doing something that is wrong. But men are brave. Men are brave. So it will be, let us go in and do it. That's why we need the women.
Yeah,
and we also need
from the support that we're having. But basically, what's preventing us really from reaching that goal, that target?
That target. Yeah, so the first thing is the laws that I've spoken about. But secondly, we also need to look at financial capacity. Okay? When we bring it to the political arena, Zambian politics have become very expensive, become very cosmopolitan. For somebody to win a constituency, for example, they may need to begin doing their work 2 or 3 years before that election. And it's a lot of money that is needed.
So maybe are you of the view that maybe the nomination fee should be reduced maybe for women to compare more women to participate?
It is not it's particularly not only about the nomination fee, because the nomination fee is simply about, is it 13,500 for women? But then carrying out a whole lot of a campaign, that is before the 3 months. So we're talking about 2-3 years of laying the foundation, where you need to go into that particular constituency, have your name built, have structures done. You need to have community projects, community engagement. It's about all that. You also need capacity building, and capacity building, you need training, you need all this, and then eventually it takes us into the campaign time. The campaign time, you will need t-shirts, you need chitenge, you will need food, you will need transport. It's a whole lot of an expense. So for somebody to win a constituency, we're talking about not less than 600, 700,000 kwacha being pumped into that constituency just during that particular time. Maybe in that budget, you haven't even considered payment of the polling agents and all that. You see? Mm-hmm. I'll give you a true example of what happened, for example, in the DP during the past elections, mm-hmm. where our MP candidates were told to say they needed to pay their own polling agents. So now look at this candidate that has been battling to carry out this whole campaign, and at the end you tell them you also need to pay the polling agents. Where will this woman get the money? You see, where will she get the money? I think in the last elections we had women that I could look at. We had Mama Ngoma, you know, Bridget Nkoma, and you could look at Bridget and you say, this woman has got potential, but she had no funding, literally no funding. So she lost the seat to a man. I know of Faith Kanika Muntali in Kalulushi. She had the potential. Mm-hmm. She was supposed to win the Kalulushi seat, and I was there personally as a woman to support her, but she didn't get that support she needed. And what happened later on? She lost the seat. You see what I mean? So these are things that we need to begin looking at.
So really, what can be done? Maybe especially looking at the fact that more men have got more access to finance than women on an average level. So really, what can be done in terms of maybe campaigns to help women? What should be done is that we need to begin identifying women that should contest in these these constituencies way before elections. Mm-hmm. So the women must be identified. Let women organizations come through to help. It's not a bad idea even to have the public sector, the private sector, begin to identify potential. We have a lot of companies that are doing extremely well in Zambia. And I am looking at a situation where we can have 2-3 companies identify women who are doing very well, who have potential and a robust mind, and they say each company will pick 2-3 women and they will run through with them. You know, help them build the constituency, help them with the campaign, help them with that. It's clear that they will scoop the elections. But with the current situation where there is a variance in financial capacity between the men and the women, it is very, very difficult. And then maybe talking about support in elections, we've seen that most women-led political parties have not really had a good number of votes. For example, I can say the New Heritage Party in the previous elections was not one of the top 5. So really, do you feel that other women are supporting their fellow women? Do they believe in them, or maybe is there need for sensitization? Well, those are strides that I can say we have started making as a country. Mm-hmm. You know, we are coming from a background where society was made to believe that a leader can only be a man, and a woman is in the kitchen and all that. And then there is also this stereotype, I would say prejudice, towards women in politics, okay? So you will have a woman in politics, well-educated, well-informed, but there is this prejudice about women in politics. You hear people label women in politics, women in politics are this, women in politics are that. And so all those things, they contribute to a certain level of women having such a stigma and getting less votes. So there should be great sensitization to our communities to make them understand that the same way you believe in this woman to do the budget in the house, because you will have a man whose salary is 3,000 kwacha per month,
and he will give a salary to the wife. The wife will do a budget, make sure that school fees are paid, this is done, this is done. It's trust. It's confidence. You will go to a woman because she's your aunt, she's your mother, and get the advice, and at the end of the day, you achieve. It is the same women. The same women we call our aunties. The same women we call our mothers. The same women that we look up to. They are the same women that are in politics. But when it comes to politics, why are we having prejudice against them? Why is there a stereotype against them? It is not right. And that's why Zambia has continued to be robbed of the development that we need. I gave an example of Rwanda. Such a deliberate decision that was made to amend their constitution. Today, look at Rwanda. Look at the development that Rwanda has amassed. Look at their parliamentary debates. You will see these great women, you know, proposing bills, debating in parliament, and contributing. Because when a woman stands on something, they stand on something that is right. And I believe that it's time that Zambia should begin moving into a trajectory of creating proper laws that should help us achieve what we want to achieve in as far as women representation is concerned.
0968675273 and also 0973167840 are the numbers to call in if you have any contribution and also a question to ask Madam Kabembe in the studio, so that she can actually get to answer you. So we're celebrating gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. Maybe just to broaden the topic a bit further, what could be the strategic position of a woman to participate in national development?
Well, national development comes at different levels. Development actually begins in the home setup. It begins in the wards. It goes into the constituencies. So for us as Democratic Party, we will look at that issue from the Constituency Development Fund.
Okay.
It's good that the New Dawn government has increased the CDF fund. It's a very good stride in achieving national development, because this way you can see that finances have been taken down to the grassroots. Now, what is important and paramount now is to look at the, first of all, project proposals. What are the projects that should be done in the wards which should help women, or which should incorporate women? Okay? What will be the process of implementing these projects? What will be the evaluation of these projects? What will be the indicators, key indicators, to show that the Constituency Development Fund that has been given is now helping our women? And so for us as DP, we have a plan. We have a plan of how we think Constituency Development Fund should be run in order to help women. I'll give an example. When you go into these wards and constituencies, we have a lot of women who are tellers today. They're the ones that are doing the chitenges, are doing all that. Very good tellers, okay? So if we are looking at coming up with deliberate moves, deliberate policies that will help our women at grassroots level, let us get those women. We can get even up to 20 women in one group, 20 women in another group, okay? Particularly, these are just tellers, okay? And we buy machines, okay? So a certain amount from the CDF should be allocated towards those women projects, okay? And we'll say, let us buy machines, let us buy cotton, let us buy material. So, for example, have you ever wondered who supplies uniforms to Zambia Police? Have you ever wondered? Who supplies uniforms to ZAF? Who supplies uniforms to ZNS? Who supplies uniforms to all these hospitals, the nurses? Okay? So we need to be strategic as a country. We'll say women in Chawama constituency, for example, we will put up 5 different groups of women, okay? We buy all that equipment, and we say these are the women that are going to sew the uniforms for the police officers that are doing the pass out in at Lilai the next 6 months, because there's always a pass out in 6 months. So we say, you're the ones that are doing these uniforms, okay? That's a contract from government, a sure contract. So, and we are sure that they will deliver. And you are sure that they will deliver, because there's a committee, there's a group of people monitoring them, you see? So, they'll sew those uniforms. They have a guide there. The right material has been bought. So there'll be nothing like, no, they supplied a wrong material or whatever, because there's been somebody to guide them and say the right material for police uniforms is this. So, babila adiyama uniforms, nga babila bachita supply kwisa, kulilai. And they are paid. That money they get, they pump into that cooperative. They'll say, okay, 50% goes back into the cooperative, and they'll say 50%, maybe 25% should be banked, and 25% should go towards other expenses. Believe you me, in a year or 2, that cooperative would have grown. Those women would have had money in the bank, which they'll come and share at the end of 2 years, and each one of them will be independent. So they'll be running independent businesses whilst having that cooperative that is being sponsored by the government. Okay? You can even do it as a rotation, so that when this group comes in, they get that contract, they are supplied, and they are weaned off. Okay? When they are weaned off, another group comes in. Just like that. So it can be a deliberate policy to say, okay, within a year or within 8 months, these are the people we are going to help. Okay? And that will help us. We have women who are involved in catering. They're involved in catering. Why don't we make a deliberate policy and say these women... Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you are through to the Camnet Breakfast Show.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Reverend. Is it you?
Good morning, yes, indeed. It's
Reverend.
Thank you so much for calling in. Your contribution, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Kalesa.
Good morning.
Thank you. First of all, I wish to commend the input and contribution of Madam Kalesa. Highly valuable. I think I share a number of sentiments and regards, particularly things zeroing in on the women's role in politics. But also, I think the aspect that she has touched on in terms of empowerment, the issues that she has brought out of, being able to bring these women together and deliberately put up systems such as the one that she's proposing, where they're able to, with a certain, supervision, guidance, and also technical and team support, be able to produce some of these, materials for our service and personnel, whether it is the barracks or readiness or police or staff. I think these are some of, the things that would help our women folks, graduate from, the doldrums where they've been to where they're supposed to be. And I think that the other issue that I just want to quickly bring now to Madam Kalemba because I think she has spoken so much that is of that I don't want to dilute that. But there is an aspect, I think, which I did echo in the previous program regarding, I think, also ensuring that there is a certain basic and minimum of, education that is also, supported to our women for. I was glad yesterday I was listening to some of the women that were speaking, I think, on one of the media houses saying they really want to go into, night school or something like that, even at their age. Saying to the family to come to their home. I think that lesson in knowledge is critical in terms of, these ideas that Madam Kansan brought up, because I think they'll also help them in terms of, broadening their understanding of how they can also get involved, whether it's in business at that level or it's in politics, so that they're able to make those valuable contributions and input. But also, the issue of those that have gone ahead. I think Madam Kalimba agrees with me that some of our women folk that have been in leadership, I don't want to particularly maybe pinpoint these women, that women, but I think some of them, whether it's in politics or in the corporate world, I think that some of them have not really done well in terms of how they have managed themselves. Yeah. And I think that also does take away and subtract in terms of, I think, their behavior, their conduct, and maybe particularly those that have gone into politics. So it's important that, as much as, the women desire to be supported and also breaking this gender and the bias, breaking the bias as it were. It is important that, the women also as they carry themselves. She has alluded to a very critical point in terms of how they carry themselves in the home. They are managers in their home. Do the budgeting, they're able to look after the home and stuff like that. I think that particular principle, decorum that they carry, if they could go with it also in the public, space, it really helps a lot. Unlike, sometimes they get entangled into, the habits and behaviors that are there in the public domain. I think it's important for them to maintain that particular thing, decorum and, person of who we expect the women to be managers and also people that are able to galvanize things in a more, I think, morally upright manner, so that they're able to lead the way in that particular direction. I think that would be my addition and contribution. However, I think a lot has been spoken, and that's kudos to that. I think we just need to build on what she's saying and maybe tap into those ideas, including the government in terms of the legislation that she was proposing, so that, the women also can be able to contribute in the welfare and development of our nation. God bless you and everybody.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the Women's Day, all the way. Best wishes to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Reverend. Okay, and maybe your response to the Reverend's contribution.
Yes, let me begin by where Reverend has spoken about women that have gone ahead of us in politics. Really, it's very important, as a woman, because women are role models. We have so many people that look up to us. So the way we carry ourselves out will either inspire many people to join politics, and when they join politics, they'll emulate our behavior. And that's why it's important to be forthright. I always say that politics must not change you, but you should change politics, because politics is a science. It's a science. So it has to be you to change a few things in there. And one of the major things that we need to change about our politics is service to community. It's unfortunate that many people join politics for the sole purpose of benefiting themselves, rather than that Zambian voter, rather than that Zambian old woman, old man, that youth who needs their service. Because those are offices where you should go and check what is it that has not been done right, so that I can do it right. Where is the spirit of leaving a right legacy when you have left office? Sometimes it makes me wonder as to how people don't care about the names. Because the Bible says a good name is better than riches. You may get all these riches from the political arena. You steal. But what about your name? What about your legacy? What will people say about you 10, 15 years after you have left office? Because political power is borrowed power. The owner, who is the voter, can come and take it away at any particular time. You see? And that's why, for us as women, those in public offices, there should be a certain level of decorum. There should be a certain level of behavior, a certain level of character. You should be able to look at certain things and simply say, this is not right, I cannot do it. Yes, when you stand for the truth, people will misunderstand you. People will misquote you. But there are two things that will always give you peace. Your conscience will always tell you what you're doing is right. You also have a God above who will stand with you. I have been so many temptations where a decision has to be made. But I've always tried to stand by the truth. No matter how much negative energy it may bring, but as long as you know it is right, as a leader, stand for what is right, for the betterment of the other people.
Okay, and so maybe even as we conclude, we know that social media is a big influence over society today. How do you feel social media is actually portraying women? Is it in a good light or in a bad light?
Well, social media has turned out to be another complicated platform that needs to be looked at. You know, currently we have a lot of young people out there who spend a lot of their time on social media, looking at what is happening, looking at what is being said, and unfortunately, just unfortunately, because they are young, so they think whatever they see there is right. So look at this young girl on Facebook who sees this woman insulting on Facebook, this woman undressing on Facebook. They'll think that is a way of life. That is a way of life. And so as women, even as we get to Facebook, because Facebook can actually help us disseminate a lot of information and change behavior and character in our young people. So even as we get to Facebook, let us be mindful of those young people that look at us as their role models. What we are doing is what they'll emulate. So when you go to social media, always ask yourself, am I building a child out there, or am I destroying a child out there? Of what joy will it be to a woman who knows the pain of motherhood to deliberately engage in activities that will destroy another child out there?
Yes, definitely. And so that has been a very interesting topic. Unfortunately, we have to end up on, I think, about 2 minutes left. Alex?
Yeah, what do you expect from GP, if anything, from Madam Judith Kabemba in the mode of celebration of the Women's Day?
Well, in the mode of celebrating Women's Day, today what we want to do as DP is basically to reach out to that woman down there. I think you have seen what is happening in social media today. A lot of women are having their dinner. A lot of women are having brides out there. But have you thought about who is reaching out to that woman at Chainama Mental Health? Who is celebrating with that woman? Have you thought about who is celebrating with that woman in Linda compound who doesn't even have a 1 kwacha to buy a drink? Have you thought about who is celebrating with that old woman in Mississippi compound? Because she's a woman. She's a mother. She's contributed to bringing up lawyers, bringing up doctors. And today the doctors and the lawyers and the business children that they have brought up will be having their brides and their dinners. Who is with them down there? So for us as DP and my team, that's what we'll be doing today. We'll be doing random blessings of our women out there.
Random blessings, you call it. I hope our viewers there can get her and strategically place themselves in points where she can pass by. There's a song that goes, where you blessings, others do not pass me by. So I hope Madam Kawemba want to pass by some people out there. Thank you so much for coming through, Madam Kawemba. I appreciate your time, and especially that we are celebrating the Women's Day once again. Happy Women's Day.
Thank you very much, and thank you for hosting us.
Yes, it has been a very, very interesting topic, especially the issue of women participation in politics, looking at how we have to achieve gender equality in 8 years, and yet we don't have actually policies that support the achievement of this goal. And so that's it from us for today. We were earlier joined by the Young Women Christian Association Country Director, Major Oscar Chilumba, who helped us zone in onto GBV. Then later we were joined by the Office Bearer of the Democratic Party, Madam Judith Kawemba, who helped us discuss women participation in politics. So do join Patrick Soko and Sharon Kalimbula on tomorrow's breakfast show. But from us, it's good morning.